From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, May 22nd, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.01 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,258 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.7 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,125. Antiwar.com reports at the beginning of the month the Iraqi officials were bragging about their substantial military gains against the Islamic State, saying the Islamic State held less than 10% of the old city area of Mosul, which is about 30 square kilometers in size. On Sunday, Iraqi special forces declared their mission accomplished, noting the Islamic State now controls only 8 square kilometers of the old city, which is more than 25%. This has been a recurring problem for Iraq, which has been anticipating declaring outright victory over the Islamic State in Mosul since December of last year and keeps projecting the end of the month every time a new month starts, and the Islamic State still remains in the city. Special forces said their mission was to take the last western districts in Mosul away from the Islamic State, and they believe they've done so despite the Islamic State still having substantial territory in the western half of the city. Indeed, while Iraqi claims of how much territory the Islamic State has aren't really reliable, they don't appear to be shrinking. This comes amid a soaring death toll in the old city, and the U.S. appears keen to get even more deeply involved. Speaking at the Pentagon, Defense Secretary James Mattis talked up the continued escalation of the war against the Islamic State worldwide, vowing to annihilate thousands of the Islamic State fighters in the Middle East to ensure that they are never able to return to their countries of origin. At the same time, Mattis downplayed the risk the continued escalation of the war poses to civilians, despite the soaring number of civilian deaths in recent months coinciding with previous escalations, saying that the U.S. would continue its extraordinary efforts to keep the civilian death toll low. In practice, that likely means that the Pentagon will continue to go to almost impossible lengths to publish official death tolls that are far, far lower than the actual figures. Independent groups like Air Wars regularly document civilian deaths from U.S. airstrikes at least 10 times higher than what the Pentagon puts on its official list. Mattis was largely upbeat about how great he thinks the war is going, though he conceded it isn't going to be over anytime soon and will continue to be escalated. He and other officials played up the large Islamic State death toll and the number of cities seized from them, while largely ignoring that some of those cities were virtually destroyed in the process and huge numbers of Iraqi civilians remain displaced from their liberated homes. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports dozens of students walked out of Notre Dame University's commencement exercise on Sunday to protest a speech by Vice President Mike Pence, who warned graduates of the prestigious Catholic college school against suppressing free speech. The protesters, among the thousands of graduates and guests assembled in the university's football stadium, stood up when the Republican began his speech and streamed out of the ceremony to the jeers of some of those who remained. A few of the students had messages of protest attached to their traditional mortarboard graduation caps. One of them displayed an inverted U.S. flag, a sign of protest popularized during the Vietnam War era, and the words, "Are we great again yet?" a reference to Donald Trump's campaign slogan. In his speech at the Indiana school, Pence squarely addressed the festering controversy of what constitutes free speech on campus, an issue that has intensified at many universities since Trump's election victory last year. Organizers of the protest said they wanted to voice their objection to policies advocated by Pence as part of the Trump administration and while he was governor of Indiana, including a proposal to suspend immigration from several Muslim-majority countries that has so far been blocked in federal court. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.